Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. It's the monthly Board of Directors meeting for the Delta Amateur Radio Club. It's the July meeting. Welcome. Paul, I'll just jump right into business and get you to, not Paul, Perry. Got Paul in the mind. Perry, if I could just get you to call the roll real quick and let us know if we have a quorum, I sure would appreciate
Thank you for the compliment, Joe.
Indeed.
That's big shoes to fill. President Joe Plunk,
Present.
Vice President Tyler Henley,
Present.
Secretary Perry Hayes, present. Treasurer, the aforementioned Paul Broom.
Present. Size 14 shoes, Perry.
Oh, man. You have Shaq size feet. Director of Programs, Adam White. I believe Adam is out of town.
Yes, sir. He responded. He was at a. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think he sent us out an email that said that he would be out of town tonight. Director
Yes,
of Meetings and Special Events, Scott Adams.
Present.
Director of Publications, Jonathan Urschel.
Present.
Director of Training, Joe Lowenthal.
Here.
Repeater Trustee, Dan Fleek.
Here.
And Club Historian, John Reiners.
He let me know he was still not feeling well at all.
We do have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you so very, very much. I'll take a moment and I just want to say I appreciate everyone's involvement in Field Day this year. I think it was an amazing success. I don't know how it stacks up against previous years, but I think it was one of the better ones that we've had in quite some time. We had good engagement and 75 people on the sign-in sheet. I think it was a phenomenal success in spite of the weather and despite the weather. So I just wanted to say, just as an opening statement, I do really appreciate everyone and the involvement that we had in that. And with that, I'll ask Perry, do we have any minutes that we need to discuss or edit?
I circulated the minutes of last month's membership meeting by email yesterday. I had 2 emails which were just typos. I messed up Josh's call sign and I called Joe Lowenthal, Joel Lowenthal. And so those were just typographical things that I was notified about. Nothing changed the substance of the minutes. And so those were the only amendments.
Very good. Is there any objection to approving those minutes and forwarding them on to the membership? All right, hearing none, I will assume that everybody is in agreement that the minutes are approved and we'll forward them on to the membership. All right, we'll move real quick and talk about, we'll motor through the business pretty quick. Fred from the show was going to join us about 6:50 or so. We'll do debrief Field Day and try to get us out of here by 7:30. I'll turn the floor over to Paul real quick and or Perry to talk about membership renewals.
I can start it and then Perry, feel free to chime in. But on the screen, you see the list of applications that I had. Some of these I got that Jim had. And after processing them, I realized that 3 of them there, Eric Nelson, Mike Albanetti, and James Greer, he had actually already processed those in a previous month. So I don't know whether or not those were approved. He just had the application saved in a folder, the application folder. So anyway, going back to the top, we have 2 new members, Jim Mitchell and Barry Smith. And then we have the 3 that I just talked about that were renewals, plus Sean Thomas, Doug Thorne, Chuck Baker, Park Dodge, and George Flynn. And so those are all the applications that I have.
Thank you, Paul. Is there any discussion around the approval of the new and renewal of new members and the renewal of the new members as presented? Good to see some old members renewing. All right, I'm not hearing any discussion. I would entertain a motion to approve the membership applications, both for the new members and the renewals.
I would move that we accept all of the applicants as members in Delta Amateur Radio Club.
Okay.
All right, motion by Perry to accept all of the membership applications in the Delta Amateur Radio Club by Perry, seconded by Dan. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Paul, for catching us up and stepping into some shoes that it was a very sad job to step into. Just a quick note, it was Jim's memorial today. If you have a minute afterwards, you might think about his family and just lift them up. Treasurer's report. This is the treasurer's report that we tabled last month for approval. So, Paul, I'll let you walk us through it, and then to appropriately deal with this, we will need a motion to pick it up off the table, and then to once that passes, we'll approve it as presented. With that, I'll turn it over to Paul, please.
There wasn't a lot of activity during the month of May. There was a deposit for Huntsville Hamfest bus fares of $400. We did have a returned check, and there was a charge for that. And then there were 3 checks that were issued, and those are listed there to Dan, a couple of checks to Dan, and one to Scott for reimbursement of club refreshments. Both of Dan's were repeater related equipment, and that's really it for that month.
Okay. And then that was the CDs for the month.
Correct.
All right. Are there any questions, concerns, discussion around the May presented for June treasurer's report?
I guess the $20 return was a membership.
Yeah, it was a membership payment, and to be honest with you, I don't know if that was a $20 charge by the bank or if it was a debit of the $20 that we deposited. I guess it's probably the $20 that they're taking back.
Do we know who it was?
I've got that.
Okay.
I haven't done anything with it yet, but I'll follow up on that.
Okay. Yeah, we will let you handle that in a discreet manner.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, concerns? All right. I would entertain that motion to pick up from the table the approval of the June treasurer's report.
I'll make the motion to
All right.
untable the treasurer's report.
All right. Anyone want to second that one? Is
Seconded.
that you, Perry? Gotcha. Seconded by Perry. So there's a motion on the table to bring up off of the table and for discussion the approval of the treasurer's report for June, made by Tyler and seconded by Perry. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So we're now moving into the treasurer's report and approving the treasurer's report. Would entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented by Paul. I know there's a little process here. I apologize. We'll just move through it pretty quickly.
I would move that we accept the treasurer's report for the month of June as submitted by Paul Broom.
Fantastic. Motion made by Perry and
Seconded.
seconded by
Seconded.
We do need a
Jonathan. Gotcha.
Yes.
correction there. This is the May report here that we were picking up.
Yeah, it says
Oh,
June
Correct.
on
So
it.
that
Yeah.
May, right, because it's the May report that's presented at the June meeting.
Correct. I think the motion
that's why
said
I-
it was for the June report.
Yeah,
Correct.
I said that incorrectly, so my apologies.
Right. So this is the treasurer's report that is presented at the June meeting for the month of May transactions. So the motion is to approve the June treasurer's report for the month of May 2025. Made by Tyler, seconded by, I think it was Perry. All right, the backwards, other way around. Perry's got the right notes. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. All right. All right. Sorry, we had to do a little bit of parliamentary gymnastics for that one. But we'll move into the next one a little easier. So this is the July report that is covering June's transactions. I'll turn the floor over to you, Paul.
Correct. On this one, I've got the membership money collected there. The one new member, one of the members previously printed was a no fee. So we've got the one new fee there, and then 6 renewals are there. And then we did have 2 different donations of $500 each during the month. One was specifically submitted for field day expenses. The other one, there wasn't a designation. In addition to those 3 items, which totaled $1,140, we also had the receipts for the Edfong antennas. Those were $774.50. This next one is the one I emailed about. As I was going through Jim's stuff, there was $123 in cash in there. I didn't have any way to identify what it went to. So I've just shown it as miscellaneous receipts. Some of it could have been patches, but since it's 123, there was apparently something else there as well. So I have that there. And then we had 5 bus fares received for $500. So the total of all that was $2537.50. And then as far as checks go, there were 2 checks that cleared. There was a check to Scott Adams for reimbursement of refreshments for $66.46, and a check to Joe for reimbursement for the flea market tables of $112. And then there's also an outstanding check that I just gave to Dan on Saturday that hopefully survived the flood. But it hadn't cleared the bank yet. It was $123.50. So the cleared items totaled $178.46. Any
Excellent.
questions?
I don't have any questions. I do have one statement. I know that there were a couple of applications that were Jim had missed the March meeting, and there were a couple of applications that we collected, and I got him those payments in April. One was a check and one was a $20 bill. I don't know if he had a chance to put them in the bank, so that might be some of the miscellaneous $123.
The 20 could be the check I would have deposited, and I've got that accounted for.
Very good. Any questions regarding the report that Paul has presented?
Paul, did you say my check did clear?
Yeah, yours did clear.
Oh, okay. Because you said it's still outstanding.
Dan's is still outstanding. Oh, I need to change that wording. I apologize. That just clear. I just got the statement today. I'll correct that.
Okay.
It's not outstanding. Sorry about that.
No worries. All right. Any other questions or observations?
Thank you, Paul.
Right, welcome.
Very much. I would entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented by Paul.
So move.
All right. Motion made by Joe to approve the treasurer's report, seconded by
I will second.
Tyler. All right. So the motion is on the floor is to approve the treasurer's report as made by presented by Paul, seconded by Tyler. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right. Do we have any, we'll move in for just a minute. Does anybody have any bills that they would like to talk about and present to Paul?
Paul, I'll be I don't have it on me. It's in my car, but I bought that 10-meter bandpass filter. It was approved in the maybe April. I'd have to look back on the minutes, but I'll bring that to you next week. The receipt for it. It was $80 something. I can't remember. But just letting you know, I'll just bring that to you face to face.
Okay. One thing on that too, any other bills that come up, Joe's going to be out of town. And so unless it's urgent, I'll need to get you the reimbursement once he gets back in town for the check signing.
No problem.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
It's Josh, KQ4 iOS. I got to get you the other 2 receipts I have for the food I bought for field day. I can get you that. We can go over that at the meeting because I know we didn't end up using a lot of the food and there was some left over, so we can go through that next Tuesday if you want to.
Sure. And I've got your other receipt for I think it's $25 and something.
Yeah, that was for the ice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Josh. I'm going to take just a second and say thanks. You were yeoman on jumping in and taking care of the foods and stuff for field day. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. No problem.
All right. Anyone else have any other bills or presentations or receipts they need to talk to Paul real quick about? All right. Paul, I can catch up with you tomorrow if you need to real quick, and we can I can leave you kind of like a in hand check just in case.
Okay.
Don't want to leave us in a lurch. All right. With that, Fred Miller, KS2X, from the Neshoba president's in the waiting room. I'll buzz through the meeting member topics and then we'll move into kind of a field day debrief and talk kind of walk through that. I want to take a fair amount of time about that because our July board meeting is relatively short. So Adam sent me a note for the membership meeting next week. Ham 101 at 6 p.m. is going to be, I don't have that correct on that slide. It's correct on this slide. So let me pull the right slide up. It's crimping coax terminals at 6 p.m. That is a much requested topic. He is asking for a volunteer to talk about field day. A really good person, and I haven't had a chance to reach out to him, would be potentially Mark Bledsoe. He was a ham that has not been on HF ever, and he was working the GOTA station and had a ball. I think he racked up probably 70 contacts on the GOTA station. He might be a good candidate for that to kind of have a report. And the other Anyone else is welcome to join him so that he's not alone and talk about their field day experience. That was Adam's request. And then Adam's final presentation for the membership meeting is building an end-fed half-wave antenna. And of course, July will be the last meeting to accept orders for the Ed Fong antennas. Any concerns or questions around the meeting topics? All right. We'll do just a real quick brief committee report, Dan, on our repeaters, and then we'll let me ask you just real quick. Do we want to go ahead and close the board meeting out before we do the field day discussion, or do we want to just invite Fred in and then we'll close after we debrief on field day? Take a quick poll of the board.
Close after debrief.
Okay. Anyone else?
Sounds good.
All right. All right. Very good. Well, Dan, we'll do a quick committee report on the repeaters, and then we'll pause on the at that, and we'll talk about field day. Go ahead.
We put up a temporary coax for the 220, so I need to purchase a in connector for it, and we'll go back out there, and we'll be able. Looks like the APRS antenna got ate up by lightning. So Joe and I have been looking at Lowenthal and I have been looking at like maybe just a low cost tram antenna that has 6 dB gain, maybe. I think, but just good cheap antenna, and we'll go put it up there when we go work on the 220 coax. And
Okay.
after that, we'll have to schedule some time with Jelly to go over and swap out the audio card on Germantown. But everything else is working.
That's great news on the repeaters. Appreciate that greatly. Welcome, Fred. Go ahead, Fred, Dan.
Oh, I just remember tonight's the weather net check-in.
Indeed it is. I'm working hard to get us out of here. I think the weather net starts at 7:30, or is it 7?
7.
7. We won't be out of here that fast, but we might be able to get out by 7:30 and make it.
That's all I have.
All right, sir. Thank you much on the repeater update. I'll take a quick moment and say, Jonathan, I'm going to try to get you my Sparks updates tonight or at the very latest tomorrow, because I won't. Otherwise, you won't get them from me. So I will get them to you. Please try to get your
Appreciate
Sparks
that.
articles in. Love to see articles from everybody. Let's take a bent and make sure we all take a little bit of a moment to talk about field day, smashing success. I'd love to see pictures from anybody. I was not very good this weekend for field day about getting pictures. I know Dan got some, and Steve Frazier got some, and a couple others got some. Try to share some of those to Jonathan. Maybe we can have a page of field day pictures if possible. All right. If you know anybody that hasn't renewed, let them know to renew. And with that, let's take a minute. I've invited Fred Miller, KS2X, with the president of Neshoba, to join us and take a few minutes and walk through field day and kind of do an after action debrief of field day. So at a high level, I'll take a couple of action points, and then we'll open up the floor for discussion and take some notes. According to the sign-in sheets that were sent out, thank you, Joe, for sending those. We had 75 people sign in.
I have
not had an
78.
opportunity.
I have 78
Very good.
on 4 sheets. I don't
All
know
right.
if
I've not had
the
an-
4th sheet didn't get scanned or not.
I'll go back and look, Joe. I may have just looked at it wrong. I was a little bleary-eyed last night, early in the morning when I was putting this together. I will admit that. I have not had a chance to go back and look at the number of guests versus amateur radio operators, hams that were in there. I know we had a fairly good number of guests that had signed in. We did operate as a 4A station, which very tickled by that. And we did operate for about 24 hours, a little less, but almost a full 24 hours. During the evening hours, we had 4 full strong stations operating. It was very impressive. Compliments to everyone. The dinner did go off, even though it was a little kind of, the weather was a little interesting. And I want to put the weather got a little interesting after dinner. A huge props and compliments and thank you to Adam. He pushed out some WinLink messages for us and gathered up some bonuses on that. We've never really had WinLink messages sent out that I can remember in the past couple of years. So he did a real good job of pushing those out over HF or VHF. I'm not sure exactly how he pushed them, but he pushed them out, and that created some bonus opportunities for us as well. I apologize. I don't have the full W4BS contact number. It was approaching 400, and Carolyn sent me another 30 or 40 that hadn't made it into the log. So I'm going to say we're over 400 contacts on W4BS. I don't know exactly how far. I'll try to get that number tonight. The longest contact that I saw was an FT8 contact to Japan, which was quite amazing. Steve Frazier made that contact, and he was like, yep, that the person in Japan was participating in field day and acknowledged it. It was quite impressive. We've got the W4 NRC contacts. The go to get on the air station has 4 pages of handwritten logs. And Fred, your action item of a debrief to why don't we just log those as a separate log in the computer? Noted. We will make sure to do that next year. I don't know exactly how many that added up to because I haven't counted them yet, but those were all single sideband contacts. All right. That's kind of the high level points. I'm going to hush now and open up the floor as a kind of a round table discussion for notes and observations around field day. No structure really to this. Let's just kind of be an organized, orderly round table and open up the floor. Fred, I'll give you the first opportunity as our guest.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, well, I made a list of kind of things I thought went particularly well and some things that were kind of on the other side of the agenda, if you will. One thing I thought is everybody really worked well together, which I thought was a really good team effort, and I appreciated that quite a bit. I thought overall, I spent most of my time there on that 20-meter sideband station, and overall, I think we did pretty well. The band went up and down, but overall went pretty well for us and was pretty good. I really liked having the network working. I think it helped a lot. We did learn one thing, though, that if you start logging before it gets into the network, you lose all those entries. And so we had to manually re-enter them again. So I think we need to do that. One thing that I was a little worried about, I don't know whether I should be, I gather all the contacts end up on the central servers thing. If that were to in any way fail, we'd lose everything, I think, is the way it works. Now, that may be not an issue. I don't know if there's a way to set it up so the individual stations can be both on the network and also backing up on their computer itself. That would be kind of a nice thing, give us some redundancy. It's not a big deal. We didn't have a problem with it, but just something I thought we might want to think about in case something like that happened. I thought overall the equipment we used performed well, and that was quite good. The weather could have been a lot better. It was definitely interesting for those of you who were there when it really hit hard. It was kind of crazy. Some of the areas that probably the biggest disappointment I had was the thing we'd worked out with the library. For those that everybody isn't familiar with, work with the library to send out something. They have a large distribution list they send out weekly to people about things that are happening in the library. And we offered a series of seminars, short seminars about what ham radio is about, what emergency communication is about, what field day is and how that fits in. And then we were going to take them up to the field day site and let them see the operation and take it from the theory down to the actual practicality. And we got no pickup on that at all. So you can't get a negative number. We didn't get it into the positive category. And to me, the idea still has a lot of value, because it's one thing to tell people about something in a more classroom kind of setting, what it is, what it means, and everything. But them actually take that and put it in touch with it happening in real time just seemed like an unusually good thing to be able to help people understand ham radio about. And it was definitely a failure in terms of getting people to attend it. Now, if we can find a way to fix that, then we can see if the rest of it follows through. But that was one of the bigger disappointments. Like to find a better way to do it. Another one is, I think we could have done a whole lot more with that tower we got from EMA. We pushed pretty hard to get them to get there, to try to get them involved. And it wasn't until pretty late in the on Saturday before it even started getting used at all. And they noticed that one of the things I think might be nice to do is maybe Joe, you and I send a joint letter to them thanking them for, because if we want them to come back out again, I think it doesn't help us a lot that wasn't getting used a lot. Now, when they came to pick up their tower on Sunday morning, I told them how we'd gotten great use out of it through the evening and how terrific it was, and yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't happening a lot when they were there. So that was not one of our high points there to do. Another thing that we ended up, and part of the reason we ended up underutilizing the tower, is we had a station planned, but it didn't ultimately get adhered to. We didn't end up with the stations in the places we planned to have it. And one of the stations that was going to be the primary user of that tower ended up on the other side of the field, kind of out of range of the tower. So I think we need to find a way to make sure that the station managers understand that and adhere to it, because there was just an overlap between what people wanted to do, and that wasn't a coordination high point to see as well. Had one unique thing that was gone last year and back again this year. For most past years on 20 sideband, we'd have a fair amount of interference on the front end of the radio from the CW station operating down further on the 20-meter band. When we switched to using the vertically polarized 20-meter antenna, and we were still having a horizontally polarized CW station, couldn't even hear the CW station last year on it. Didn't interfere at all. This year it did interfere and was a problem a fair amount of the time. Jelly had a hypothesis, and I don't know whether it's accurate or not. He's seen these things happen before, but the GOTA station antenna was right over the 20-meter location. And he thought it was a possibility that the GOTA station signal was mixing with the CW station signal and causing overload in there. So I'm not sure what the best way to avoid that is, but that's something I think we could do a little bit better.
The CW station antenna was higher this year.
You think that's what did it, Joe?
I put it in the very top of the tree with a slingshot, and it wasn't that high last year.
Okay. Was more of it running vertically then?
It was slanted.
Yeah, but previously it almost have been completely horizontal, hadn't it?
Say that again.
Was there more vertical portion to it this time than in past years?
The slant was higher, yes.
Yeah,
I do believe.
So the advantage we were getting with the horizontal and the vertical offsetting each other were probably offset by that. That's probably what caused it.
You can check with Carolyn to see if she thinks it was quite a bit higher this year than last year.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Yeah.
was at about a 40 degree slope. It was more like about like that. So it had a pretty good slope to it. And last year it was a lot flatter. And then on the GOTA station, the GOTA station last year was an in-fed half wave that went off of the pagoda, off of the pavilion, down towards where the 80 meter station was this year. The GOTA antennas moved to a different spot this year. So a takeaway we may need to run it out the way it was last year.
Yeah. Was Carolyn
the off-center?
Go ahead.
I was just going to finish. The off-center fed dipole that we were running for the GOTA ended up having better trees that way. If we had gone the way it had gone the previous year, we didn't quite have enough trees to support the off-center fed dipole, so we might have had to done a little something different or run an in-fed halfway.
Yeah.
You were going to ask a question.
Yeah, I was just curious. Did the CW station, did Carolyn operate much on anything but 20 meters?
She was
Do not
band
know.
hopping, but she spent a lot of time on 20 meters. I can do the log analysis and send that over to you, Fred. I don't have it handy. I'd try to pull it up.
Well, here's a thought. Maybe one of the things we should look to do for the CW station is make a 20-meter dipole that we could run horizontally for her to use primarily. Then if she has an ed fed and wants to use it on some other bands, the other bands don't affect the 20-meter sideband station. So if we could get her a good antenna that was horizontally polarized, that might help with some of that problem. Does that make sense to anybody?
$20-meter dipole for CW?
No, yeah. In other words, what I think helped us the past year and what changed this year was we had clear delineation. We had a fairly low, mostly horizontally polarized CW station and a vertically polarized sideband station. And that's about a 20 dB drop in pickup between the two. By getting more of it on that angle for the CW station, we lost a lot of that advantage, I think. And so that's what I was thinking. Could we get a good 20-meter antenna that would really do well for that, but be horizontally polarized for the CW so that we got back that advantage? Am I making myself clear?
Yes, sir.
So, just something to think about. There's no bandpass filter is going to help when we're both on 20 meters. And 20 meters is really a kind of a bread and butter band, isn't it? But overall, I was really pleased with the whole thing and enjoyed working on it. And I think we did a lot of good things together.
Well, Fred, thank you for those observations. Next person on the floor, just raise hand, jump in. Next person with some observations.
I think you can see that separation of the antennas is important.
Yep.
Pat Lane, when we were at the old location, he plotted out certain areas to help alleviate the interference.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Never disagreed. I think we all agree that antenna separation is important. We had tried to work a band plan, and just part of it, an observation that I have is the bands this past weekend had a mind of their own. They did not really want to cooperate and open up the way we really had hoped they would, and we were having to work. We all kind of ended up on 20 because it was really the only band that was open and functioning for any real functionality during the day. It wasn't until later in the evening that 40 started opening up pretty good. We did eventually get 80 to open up. And we did make a few contacts on 15.
Understand 10 and 6 were pretty dead.
Every time I hit 10, because 10's my favorite, one of my favorite stations. Every time I hit 10, it was dead flat. We had a little bit of high solar this weekend. I was watching that on the ham clock, and 10 was dead. I did not check 6, but every time I checked 10, it was dead. All right, any observations, comments about logistics, setup, takedown, food, the event registration? I mean, anything's fair game. Yes, sir, Paul.
I would just say I noticed, Joe, you were carrying a lot of the load on equipment to the place and then away from the place, and it would probably be good if we could better distribute that next time, so that you're not our pack mule there.
That was one of my personal takeaways. Is like, how can I get more people involved? Can you bring a fan? Can you bring a fan? Can you bring a fan?
Whose big
That was
fan
my
was
personal
that?
takeaway. All of those fans I borrowed from the office. So I brought, and one of them was my personal fan. So I brought a total of 4 fans, 3 great big circular fans and a big stand-up fan. Kept the pavilion nice and breezy. The biggest fan was a little squeaky, so it wasn't running a whole lot of the time. But I borrowed those from the office, and I had 2 backup generators as well.
Yeah, I had 2 of the fans there, 2 box fans.
Fans made a big difference.
Yeah. I had 2 fans at our station, one a larger one that kind of ran down low, and then we had a tabletop one that oscillated and provided a nice light breeze for the operator and the logger.
I recommend make sure that we have Gatorade. As hot as it is, people need the electrolytes.
Good idea. And we didn't lose anybody.
Don, I called Don, and he brought in some
Yes,
Saturday midday.
sir, I saw that he dropped that off. Go ahead, Jonathan.
My primary observation really was, so I've been there helping just go for whatever you guys needed, helping here and there, and I didn't really realize that we weren't going to be having any kind of food, and so it got to be like 2 o'clock, and I hadn't eaten all day, and I'm like, all right, I gotta go. I'm gonna pass out. So I ended up leaving, and when I got home, I was just done at that point because it was so hot that day. So I don't know, maybe next year, plan to do something around lunchtime for the people that have been setting up all morning or whatever, something like that.
So plan a lunch, dinner, and breakfast. Fair?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I got there too late to get any breakfast, but it was basically from like 8:30 to 2, and I mean there were snacks out there, but I'm a diabetic, so I'm not going to eat all the sugar. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
The breakfast was Sunday morning.
Yeah, the breakfast was Sunday morning. And I'll admit the lunch Saturday was probably a planning miss. That's good feedback.
Yeah, because I know that Josh had gotten all kinds of food, and I was sitting there going, when is we gonna make some of this food? Because I gotta eat or I gotta go.
One thought on how to handle it might be when it's getting, 11:30, 12 o'clock, just before the actual operation starts running, get a head count of everybody, see who'd like some stuff, and, run up to McDonald's, get something for people to eat and stuff, and tide them over.
Yeah, something like that. I think you
Usually
got.
on Saturday, it's pizza lunch for lunch.
That'd work.
It might have been your crew, Fred, last year. I think somebody brought Lenny's in around lunchtime last year, I think, because I remember
Yeah.
somebody bringing a bunch of Lenny's
Carolyn,
in. Okay, it was Carolyn. Yeah, all right.
Okay. Lunch for next year on setup day.
Yep, I added that to the list. Taking
And
notes.
it don't have to be a full lunch, but just something people can snack on or eat or something, because I mean, it was burning up that day.
Needed some
Jonathan,
fuel.
Gator-
thank you for
Gatorade's
your
up.
help.
I did. I had a
Absolutely.
Gatorade. I was like, and it was a full sugar Gatorade too. So I was like, all right.
Do we need to get some electrolyte packets to add to the waters? Because that might be also an option.
Yeah, for those that want electrolytes, we could certainly do like a Powerade packet, electrolyte packet, or a Gatorade packet, or a liquid IV packet if they wanted to add it to the water bottles. Those aren't terribly expensive.
Yeah, that was my only feedback, because I think had I not had to leave to eat, I probably would have stayed most of the rest of the day. But once I got home, I was done. I laid down and I was I'm out of energy.
Right. All right. Who else was there and wants to have some observations? Josh, you got any?
No, I mean everything was pretty much smooth sailing. I just had to unload everything and get all the stuff, the meats and stuff on ice. But other than that, no, it I really don't have anything else to add with it.
Okay. And Scott, I thank you for making sure that Josh was supplied with all the coolers and stuff that he had. The coffee machine was a huge hit. Thank you.
Well, that's a good idea. Thank you.
All right, Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun, and was trying to reboot the food program. I know we used to have hot food before COVID hit, and when COVID hit, we just kind of changed how we were doing things, and so we're kind of missed some history there. So we're building it back up, and hopefully next year we'll have more food for people that need it. And I just was very glad a lot of people showed up. I saw people that I hadn't seen in a while, or maybe couldn't make meetings, came out. So that was really good. The site planning meeting, I got notification late the night before for a meeting that was during a work day. And if we can kind of avoid that, or at least have a little more heads up, I would have liked to have been out there and maybe help plan out some of that. I think I was like Fred, I think the tower could have been used a lot better. And, we could stick 2 meter or 6 meter up there too. I think the situation that caused the change to happen, probably in looking at it, if I had known what was going on, I think we could have moved the station back and got it back to what the original setup was, and started using the 80 meter, because it's not like our stations are that big that you can't grab the table and the radio and run over to the other side.
Well, I did volunteer, Dan.
Yeah.
I asked Steve if he wanted to move it back. That was something else I was going to mention. Like before everybody gets set up, maybe everybody just needs to do a health check, make sure everybody's on board with sitting in their spot. Because I mean, John just went down hard after, like 20, 30 minutes trying to get his stuff going. And I mean, 2 or 3 of us had to help him pack up so he could go home and not stroke out there. So, and I know that Steve was kind of aggravated over the fact that he got set up out there before, while John was in the process of kind of crashing, so communication, I guess,
Yeah.
On the tower note, I'll add this, that I think for the first year that we've had it in a while, I think we've had it in the past, many years in the past, but having it for the first time in recent time, I think we did a pretty good job of leveraging it. We had a Meshtastic node up on it. Ryan had asked for that to go up. We had a broadbanded vertical on it. I think we've learned that we can leverage that better, and that's a good strong takeaway for next year to bring them back.
Yeah.
And have a VHF, UHF up there, and we can do some simplex work on it from it. I think that'd be a phenomenal way to get some additional contacts next year for field day. And maybe Dan, to your point, hey, we can we got 4 spots up there, 8 if we went one up and down. We have 6 meters up there too. What I don't remember is how many pieces of coax does the trailer have that we could leverage? Just one, or did they have? I saw like 3 reels. Was there each one of those a coax reel? Does anybody remember?
I know there's 3 reels. I was thinking that there was. I don't know, Fred. Do you remember more than 3 reels? Are there 3 reels on the backside as well?
I don't frankly remember.
Well, one of them may have been to power the lights.
Would know though.
I know there's
The
3
lights went
reels,
up the center.
and it's LMR 600 from what Jelly said.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in connectors on it. And I had the adapters to put on it to get to the vertical and connect down at the bottom from the coax to the coax that went out into the field.
Yeah, I think all of us had adapters. I had a whole kit full of them.
Yeah, so I think as long as you can get your. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no!
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, I think an 1.5-inch pipe would fit into those slots. So all we need to do is a short section of whatever 1.5 inches to mount our antenna to.
The military fiber, what we put on it was that military fiberglass 4-foot section was on the vertical antenna.
Yeah.
Seemed to work well. All right. Paul, I know you spent some time out with us. Do you have any comments or observations?
No, I mean, I enjoyed talking to the people coming in, and actually ran into some people out there that weren't hams that I knew. So that was kind of interesting. I got to try to sell them on the idea a little bit. But I thought it went well. I did want to add, in addition to Joe Plunk being the pack mule, Joe Lowenthal is as well. So maybe we could kind of maybe lay out the total logistical needs and try to spread the whole thing out a little better. But that's really it for me.
The document that I'd circulated previously was my attempt to try to start capturing a lot of the things that were being circulated and brought and committed to, and just to try to organize that and capture it to carry it forward for next year so that we have it recorded, so that we could say, okay, who's going to bring 3 fans, and try to parse that out to more people. I did have a couple of observations from Carolyn, and one of her observations was bring a tarp to throw over your station if the weather should turn nasty. Throw a tarp over your station and tuck it under it so that it has a better survivability chance.
Yeah,
But also,
she
I
had
was gonna-
water
sorry, I
in
was
her
just-
QRP rig.
The only thing she told me that she lost was her tough book didn't survive. All of her radios were fine, and her keys and her tuners and her power supplies were all fine.
Well, that
But her tough book
not
didn't
so
survive,
tough.
and we're gonna have to get when water was dripping out of it was bad. We're gonna have to pull her hard drive and get she knows where the database log is for her work if we can't recover the paper log that she sent me, but we can pull her hard drive for her and recover the data off of it. That was her observation. I'll open the floor one last time, and we won't keep going just to keep going. Oh, I do have one thing. I'll circle back around on that in just a second, Tyler. I'll put you on the spot. Any other comments or observations from those that were at our field day?
Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
In addition to the tarps, I was going to make it. If we're going to do the tarps, it may be a good idea to get some of those spring-loaded clamps too, to clamp the tarps down to the table in case the weather does turn. So that way we'll have something to hold them down.
Good observation.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
I just counted
All
on
right.
the sign in 13 visitors that didn't have a call sign.
Nice. Very nice. So Tyler, I'm going to actually ask you and put you on the spot for just a second because you had a rare opportunity for us. You were out of town and attended another club's field day event. Actually, I think you did multiple clubs. And I would very much want to hear your observations about how their events looked and how they worked, and just share some of your observations about other clubs' events. And then after that, we'll wrap up and talk and close this out.
Okay. Yeah. So I had been looking up around the St. Louis area. There were several clubs. The one that was closest to where we were drilling was outside of Granite City, Illinois. So I left drill at about 3:30 and got there right before 4. And the Lewis and Clark Ham Club was tearing down. I've got to remember that they are a little northern compared to us, so heat is a bigger factor to them. It was 89 degrees, and they said it was just too hot to continue. So I pulled up the ARRL website, spotted another club. Didn't actually look at what club I was going to. I just went there. So I got there, and it was a QRP club. And they were set up in a little municipal park, kind of like ours, but a little bit smaller. But they were running as a 4. I should remember which class they were running off of solar and battery. So
4E.
4E. That's it. And that was pretty fun. I noticed that they had a spare rig and antenna set up. I was like, so what is that? And they're like, oh, that's voice. Every station was running CW and nobody wanted to touch voice on QRP. And I was like, okay, can I go over there? And they're like, yeah, go ahead and set up. So it was my first experience running QRP, which got a little aggravating when I was trying to bust a pile up. And then I had to remember, like, oh yeah, this is 5 watts. That's not happening. And lo and behold, some people showed up, and I wound up manning their GOTA station for them and showing some kids how ham radio works and showing some families how ham radio works. So I was there from maybe 5:30 or so to midnight, logged 26 contacts. it was fun. They had I forget what it's called, but they had a different type of looped antenna. So it was directional east west. I tried so hard to make a contact with y'all, but the way that their antenna set up was directional. It just was not happening. They did a little bit of a dinner thing as well, which seemed to work. And so, you know, if you're running QRP, cool deal. I would highly suggest we never run just strictly QRP, because I could tell that even some of the CW guys and gals were getting a little agitated because they weren't getting as many contacts as they wanted to. But hey, it gained them a lot of points by running just 5 watts, and it was fun. They were in a neighborhood park with a lot of families around it. It was smack dab in the middle of a neighborhood with several hundred houses, so they were able to pull in people that way. But they were all in good spirits the whole time. They had a very good working relationship with that city and the people who took care of the parks. So that's how they were able to go abnormally long, which I mean, we can do Germantown 24 hours, no problem. So yeah, it was fun. I did wind up, like I said, running their GOTA station. So not that we're ever going to have this problem, but don't just let your phone 20-meter station just sit there unmanned. Have somebody willing and able to go to it, because they were just deeting and dying away over there, and old phone was just chilling. So it was interesting, and I'm glad I was able to get out there and make some contacts. It was fun. So yeah, it went well. Nothing I saw other than just strictly doing QRP, but they were a QRP club, so it works for them. I would suggest we not do so. That's
So any
my,
strong observations other than don't run QRP as far as organization, just, you know, dinner plans, organization?
No, they had planned to have some extra food in case people were there when it happened. So I was pulling up as they were pretty much getting dinner ready. I think I was somewhere in the 20s on their sign-in list. So I mean, they had all things considered, for them, they were doing pretty good. The only other thing is, don't do directional antennas, even if we're running 100 watts. We could only get, we were 30 degrees off center, east and west, and that's just all we were getting. We could hear other people. I tried so hard to get a hold of Puerto Rico, because she was coming in clear as a bell, like she was sitting next to us, but she was not hearing me at all. So yeah, omnidirectional antennas, way better.
Or maybe a receive antenna and a transmit antenna that may have different patterns, because that's a fun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can play with that too.
Yeah. Kind of the best of the bunch is to have a directional antenna that's rotatable.
Or that's an even better idea. Ding, ding, ding.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I think this has been a very valuable opportunity to kind of take some feedback and learnings and best ofs about our field day this past weekend. Thank you for all that. And we'll move to our next little bit. Joe, can you give us an update on our Huntsville bus trip, please?
I'll say goodbye and let you guys do your thing. Take care.
All right.
Hey, Fred.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Fred.
Bye-bye.
We've got 9. I'm pretty sure it's 9 paid right now, with one. I got a note that a check's in the mail, but we need that's 10, and we need another 15 to 20. We need another 20 really to make it worthwhile, to make it economically worthwhile.
Okay. Well,
But
we'll
I
go
think
into, I guess
the
we'll
July
go into,
meeting, we need to push hard for the July meeting.
absolutely.
I do think a couple of students might even want to go.
Do we ever put the word out with Fred and his crew that they can come, or?
Yes, I was at one of their meetings, and I think one of their members is going to come. Tom Ernst told me that that one of their members would come this year. So I usually get an email out about this time of the year to all the other clubs.
Did that gentleman and his son that operated on the station, did they talk to you about going? Because they were asking me about going to Huntsville, and I said, well, Joe's out getting something to eat right now. He's coming back. When he gets back, talk to him. And they looked at the thing, so I was hoping that they would get back to you and talk about it.
That was a gentleman, the son and the wife were there.
Well, yeah, it
He
wasn't
was
his wife,
troop-
but yeah. Yeah.
Troop
Troop,
4
yep.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I talked to him about it.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, he seemed interested when he was asking me about it, and I said, well, Joe's the man. He can hook you up. So.
we'll need to send out
All
an
right.
email. And I've already sent out to most of the people, or all the people that have gone on the bus, and I guess in the last 10 years.
All right. Well, everyone take an opportunity to mention it. If you're on the net, mention it. In the nightly nets, mention it. If you're talking to other members, mention it. Might mention it in your Sparks article. If you write a Sparks article, just mention it in passing. Anything we can do to get the membership to recognize the bus trip and how much fun it is would be appreciated. All right. We'll do just a quick trip around everybody to take a moment to see if you've got anything that you want to add that hasn't been talked about or covered. I'll start off and just say I very much appreciate everybody's commitment and time that they give on a monthly, weekly, daily basis to the radio club. I appreciate everybody's time. It's truly, truly appreciated. Field day was a blast. Had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to Huntsville. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's our next big event. Steve Frazier reminded me about Blues Barbecue and Swamp Stoppers and some other of those things. So those are coming up in the fall and the winter. Don't want to forget about those. Those are our kind of public service things that we want to. So that's kind of the thing I'll throw out there is ham radio is such a diverse hobby. We've got so many avenues of exploration that we can explore and bring people to the hobby with. All right, we'll move over to Tyler.
Hey, no, glad field day appears to have gone relatively well, minus the weather. So glad to hear that. Hate that I missed it once again. Just glad I got to make some contacts, and I just need to bring my stuff for Huntsville next week, and looking forward to seeing everybody. That is it for me.
All right. Perry?
Really don't have any other comments. I regret I was not able to go to field day this year. I had some family, something came up with the family that I wasn't able to participate, but I'm already looking forward to next year and really looking forward to Huntsville. I went last year after a long stretch there where I didn't get to go and really had a good time. So I'm really looking forward to that. I hope that people will step up and get their payments in so we can have the trip this year.
I would echo that. Thank you, sir. Paul?
Just a couple of quick things. I mentioned those 2 donations. One of them I received in person, and I told the lady or the person that we would give them a a receipt for that. I wasn't sure.
Paul, you just froze.
Clear now?
You are clear now.
Okay.
5 by 5.
All right. Yeah, it says my internet connection's unstable. Sorry about that. Anyway, I was wondering if we have a form letter that we could send, and if there's somebody in particular that does that, or if I need to do that.
I am not knowledgeable of one at this time, Paul. If you would like to draft one and prepare that, I'm very comfortable with you doing that. We do have, as everyone knows, we are a 501c3. So we can attach our attestation to that if they need it, so that they are very comfortable with that.
Okay.
Joe Lowenthal, do you by chance have any record of those from the past?
Um,
Or Perry?
we have not. I'm trying to think. I don't think we've sent a letter out in the past. It's been a donation and that's it. I did receive a form from another club, and I can forward it to you, Paul, as to what they do.
Well, that'd be great. And I don't have a letterhead. Is there like a Google Doc or whatever that's got the letterhead?
Yeah, I've got a copy I can send you, Paul. I'll make sure it gets posted out in the Google Drive.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you'll do that, I'll find something drafted up and send them out. The other, just two quick things. I did file the Tennessee annual report, and I also renewed the Tennessee charity designation. That was due at the end of this month, so I got both those taken care of, and that's it.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated on jumping in and taking care of that. You've had a task, and we appreciate it, and I thank you so much. I cannot say that enough.
No problem.
All right, Adam is not with us today, but Scott, we'll turn the floor over to you for a moment.
I don't have anything. Just
Very good.
Just one thing I want to say. I do want to welcome Josh into our meeting, and hopefully that he'll be able to fill my shoes going forward.
Okay. I was going to say, do we have an apprentice in waiting?
I don't know. Josh, can you handle all this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, Scott, whatever you choose the timing, just let us know. Thank you for, and Josh, thank you. We appreciate all of that. And just let us know, Scott. And Josh, timing is up to timing is yours.
Okay.
Jonathan?
I don't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to mention, I don't have anything to add other than who do we send any field day pictures to?
Send them to Jonathan Urschel. He is the director of publications. So publications@deltaclub.org.
Okay.
If you could copy me on those pictures too, and I can post them on Facebook.
All right.
So we can get a lot of pictures out.
That would be fantastic. All right, Jonathan.
Couple things. You're going to be out this weekend, so Joe, I imagine that it's going to be me and you wrapping up the revisions, any changes. Talking to Joe Lowenthal. All right, so
Okay.
I mean, I will be sending it out for review, and since Joe's Plunk's not going to be around, I would imagine you'll give it the once over and let me know if I need to make any changes.
Well, the rest of the board could chime in as well too.
Yeah,
Paul and Perry and everyone else.
yeah. Also, you have a misspelling on my name, so I would like to get that
I do
corrected.
apologize.
That's okay. In here and in the Google thing, it's JOHN. That's it. So put an H in front of that, or in front of that N, and then we're good. That's all I've got.
I was bleary-eyed. Jonathan, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Major faux pas. All right, Joe.
We had our first class for technician class 3-25 last night. We had 9 people in attendance. A couple of people did not attend, and I think there might be a couple of others that want to attend that are friends of people that attended last night. So I thought it was a pretty good class. There were questions, and we only finished about 10 minutes late, at about 9:40 instead of 9:30. So that was it was 9:38, I guess it was. Anyway, we got out, and I think it'll be a good class. I did promote the Huntsville Ham Fest, and said that when they get up to testing and they pass, the fare for them will be $100 and not $120. And in the past, we've had several people make the trip. Also, Scott, one of your coworkers I talked with at Field Day, he was there.
Good.
And one
Charles?
person I talked to at Field Day did become a student. Another one did not show up, but I'm checking to see if she's going to make the second class. But that's it for the classes, and we'll push hard on getting Huntsville. I think just a lot of people don't want to pay $100 3 months in advance or 2 months in advance.
Well, we're down to less than 45 days, so we should be able to close that window now. So that's a good observation, Joe. All right. Anything else? We'll move over to Dan.
Oh, we do have 2
Oh, go ahead.
tables at Huntsville. The Huntsville Flea Market chairman pestered me about paying, and I didn't pay until towards the very last minute to get it in. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Dan.
I can't think of anything more than what I said. Just
All
really
right.
enjoyed Field Day. It was my first time helping with organization of it, rather than just being somebody who shows up and eats food and runs the station. So learned a lot.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. We have, unless there's anything else anybody has, I think we're at the end. I would certainly entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Joe Lowenthal, seconded by Dan Fleek. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Everyone, thank you for your time. Appreciate your service. Y'all have a wonderful evening and look forward to seeing y'all next week at the membership meeting.